Hello, this video I'm going to talk about preparing injections from vials and preparing injections from ampules. So you should have already watched the Evolve videos about preparing injections, and I'm really just going to add to the information there. The first thing I'd like to talk about is preparing two medications in one syringe, so mixing medications. If two medications are compatible, you can mix them in one syringe. How do you know if they're compatible? Well, most nursing units have a chart in their medication room that lists the compatibility of the most common drugs. Otherwise, all nursing units should have a parenteral drug manual. In this parenteral drug manual, it lists all medications in alphabetical order and gives you information on compatibility and administration of sub-Q, IV, and IM medications. The parenteral drug manual is also available on the Fraser Health intranet, which can be accessed from any Fraser Health computer. In addition to compatibility, when you're mixing two medications, you need to consider what the total volume of the medication will be. It really shouldn't exceed 1 ml for a sub-Q injection. So the recommended maximum dose for a sub-Q injection is 1 ml. Now I'm going to discuss the supplies that you're going to need to practice your medication preparation. So you're going to need 6 different things. I'll list them here. You're going to need a syringe, a sub-Q syringe. That's your 25 gauge, 5/8 inch. Sorry, guys. You're also going to need a blunt fill needle. So your blunt fill needle comes in a package that looks like this. Oh my goodness. You're going to need a blunt fill needle filter. You will need alcohol swabs, a vial, and your package of ampules. It's in bubble wrap in your nursing kit, so you can go ahead and take one of those out. So when you open up your syringe, you are only going to use the syringe. You can set the needle aside for now. You'll use that later. The next thing you're going to need is a blunt fill needle. So we're going to take out a blunt fill needle and we are going to attach it to our syringe. A blunt fill needle is used to fill the syringe barrel with medication from a vial. So we are going to go ahead, take our vial, we're going to flip off the lid, alcohol swab, swab the top. We're going to swab it nice and hard, killing germs. And you can go ahead, make sure that fill needle is on tight and remove the lid. So when you look at this needle, this fill needle is an 18 gauge needle. It's enormous. We would never use this to inject a patient. This is only for preparing medications. This is not feasible for giving an injection. So the point of this is it makes it really easy to draw up and to mix viscous medications because it's such a large gauge of needle. It also reduces needle stick injuries because the bevel's 45 degrees. And when you are puncturing through the rubber stopper, it goes through quite nicely. If you were to do this with your sub-Q needle, which is much finer, you would probably damage the needle, at least dull it. So what I'm going to do is draw up 1/2 ml of air. I'm going to, following the technique that you learned in your video, puncture through, add my air, flip it over, make sure the tip of my needle is below the liquid, and I am going to draw up 0.5 of a mil. I'm then going to remove and I'm going to put the lid on. Now, I've already checked my 2 medications and they're compatible. So I'm going to draw up from my ampule now. So an ampule is for single dose only. When I'm drawing up from an ampule, I need to use a blunt fill needle that has a filter. So I'm going to have to go ahead and switch out here. So I'm going to open up my filter needle, and you can see it's a little different here. You can see that the hub of the needle is purple, and within that needle hub is a really small little filter. And the purpose of the filter is to filter out any glass shards that may be present after we crack open this vial. So it's really important that you use a filter needle. Sorry, this ampule. It's really important that you use a filter needle with a glass ampule. An ampule is usually only for 1 dose. So this is a one-time. Once you crack it open, you take what you need, you discard the rest. So unlike a vial, which we need to add air to, do you know why you need to add air? I guess I should probably address that. So the vial is a closed container, and the amount of fluid withdrawn has to be replaced with air to keep the pressure the same. So it prevents the formation of a vacuum in here, which would make withdrawing the med really difficult. If you forget to put air into it, the solution flows kind of sluggishly into the syringe, resulting in a negative air pressure. So the air pressure inside the vial has to be positive, greater than the atmospheric air, in order for fluid to flow freely. Sorry about that. Back to the ampule. So we have our filter needle on. I am going to, I have a tiny little bubble in there, so I'm going to just tap it up. There we go. And I'm going to remove the lid from my filter needle. It's also an 18 gauge. Nope, I'm not going to remove the lid. I'm going to open my ampule first. So in the video, you saw that they used, I believe, an alcohol swab to open it, wrapped it around, and cracked it open. So that is actually my preferred method of opening it. But you also receive something called an ampule cracker in the bag with your ampules. So if you use the ampule cracker, what you do is you take the side that has the little holdy on things. I'm sorry, I really don't know what they're called. And you place it on the ampule. Push it all the way down until it's past the scored area. So you want it to be past this blue line here. It needs to go past there. So stick it on, push it down, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to press my thumb against here, holding it, and I'm going to break it. Then it's open, and I just discard this into the sharps bin. Now I'm going to take the lid off my filter needle, and I'm going to draw up whatever's ordered, 0.5 ml here from my ampule. So I now have a total of 1 ml of medication in my syringe. I then discard this into the sharps container. So I think that's really it for drawing up medications from an ampule and a vial. We would always draw up first from a vial and second from an ampule. The reason for drawing up first from the vial is that this vial is multi-dose. I don't want to contaminate what is left in here with anything here. Since this is a single dose, I discard this afterwards. But really, I am maintaining the sterility of this. Another reason could be because you do put air in a vial, but the main reason is not to contaminate the medication in the vial with the medication from the ampule.